chains.
Create
All
thought
right,
chain. All right.
let's dive into
Let's
our
dive
first
into
tip,
our first tip,
creating
creating
thought chains.
thought chain.
This one is
This one
super
is super
useful, but
useful.
you might be
But you
wondering,
might be
what
wondering, what
exactly
exactly
is
is
a
a
thought
thought
chain?
chain?
Good question.
Good question.
So a thought
So a
chain
thought
is
chain
when you
is when you
start with
start with
one
one
word
word
and then
and
let
then
your
let
mind
your mind
naturally
naturally
flow to
flow
the
to the
next
next
word.
word.
For
For
example, if
example,
I start
if
with
I
the
start
word
with the word
coffee,
coffee,
my mind
my
might
mind
jump
might
to
jump to
Starbucks,
Starbucks,
then
then
work,
work,
then
then
deadlines,
deadlines,
and
and
finally,
finally,
weekend
weekend
plans.
plans.
It's like a
It's
web of
like a web of
ideas all
ideas all
connected by
connected
one
by one
starting
starting
point.
point.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I see.
So it's
So
not
it's
about
not about
thinking too
thinking too
hard or
hard
trying to
or
be
trying to
perfect
be
in
perfect in
English.
English.
It's just
It's
about
just
letting your
about
brain
letting
make
your
those
brain make
natural
those natural
connections,
connections,
right?
right?
Exactly. The
Exactly.
more you
The more
practice
you
this,
practice
the
this,
easier it
the
becomes
easier
to
it
think in
becomes
English.
to think
It's
in
like when
English.
native
It's like
speakers
when native
talk. They
speakers
don't
talk.
stop to
They don't stop
translate
to
every
translate
word,
every
they
word.
just
They
jump
just
from
jump
one
from
thought
one
to the
thought to the
next.
next.
That makes
That makes
sense.
sense.
But
But
let's be
let's
real.
be real.
It's not always
It's not
easy,
always easy,
especially at the
especially at the
beginning.
beginning.
It can be
It
hard
can
to
be
get your
hard to get
thoughts
your
flowing in
thoughts
English,
flowing in
right?
English, right?
Oh, for
Oh, for
sure. I
sure.
mean,
I
it's
mean, it's
difficult at
difficult
first
at
because
first
you're still
because you are
training
still
your brain to
training your
think
brain
in
to think in
English.
English.
But here's the
But
trick.
here's the trick.
Don't worry
Don't
about
worry
being
about being
perfect or
perfect
getting
or
stuck.
getting stuck.
Start by writing
Start by
down
writing
one
down one
word.
word.
Then
Then
think of as
think of
many
as many
related
related
words as
words
you
as you
can.
can.
For
For
example, if you
example,
write
if you
down
write
weather,
down weather,
you might come
you
up
might
with
come up with
rain,
rain,
clouds,
clouds,
sunny,
sunny,
temperature,
temperature,
and so
and
on.
so on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you're
and if
feeling
you are feeling
stuck,
stuck,
just
just
write
write
it
it
down.
down.
Even if you're
Even
not
if you are
holding a
not holding a
notebook,
notebook,
you can
you can
quickly
quickly
write your
write your
thought
thought
chain in the
chain in the
comments
comment
section of our
section of our
videos.
videos.
It's a cool way to
It's a cool way
practice
to
without
practice
feeling
without feeling
pressure.
pressure.
That's a great
That's a great
idea.
idea.
Plus,
Plus,
you might
you
be
might be
surprised by how
surprised
many
by how
words you
many
can
words you
connect
can
once
connect
you
once you
start.
start.
It's like a
It's like a
mental
mental
workout for
workout
your
for
brain.
your brain.
And over time,
And over
this will
time,
help
this
you
will
think in
help you think
English
in English
faster
faster
and more
and more
naturally.
naturally.
Right.
Right.
And the best
And the
part?
best part
It's fun.
is fun.
You get to
You
see
get to
your
see
own
your own
creativity at
creativity at
work
work
as your
as your
mind
mind
jumps from one
jumps from
idea
one
to the
idea to the
next.
next.
So, if
So
you're
if you
listening,
are listening,
here's your
here's your
challenge.
challenge.
Start with
Start
the
with the
word
word
food
food
and
and
create your
create your
own
own
thought
thought
chain.
chain.
Share it
Share
with
it
us
with
in the
us in the
comments.
comments.
We can't wait to
We
see
can't
what you
wait to
come
see
up
what
with.
you come up with.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So remember, the goal is to
the
let
goal
your
is to
thoughts
let your
flow
thoughts
without
flow without
overthinking.
overthinking.
The more you
The more you
practice,
practice,
the
the
easier
easier
it
it
gets.
gets.
Keep those
Keep
thought
those
chains
thought
coming.
chain coming.
Build an English
Building an English
autopilot.
autopilot.
So, tip number
Tip
2,
number 2,
building an
building
English
an English
autopilot.
autopilot.
This is all
This
about
is all
getting your
about
brain
getting
to
your brain to
automatically
automatically
respond in
respond in
English
English without
without getting
getting
stuck.
stuck.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
I
this
love this
one.
one.
Do you ever
Do you
find
ever find
yourself in a
yourself in a
conversation
conversation
and
and
suddenly
suddenly
you
you
just
just
can't think
can't
of anything
think
to
of anything
say?
to say?
You know,
You
those
know, those
moments when
moments
all
when
you
all
can
you can
say
say
is,
is,
yeah,
yeah,
sure,
sure,
or I
or
don't know.
I don't
I've
know.
definitely
I've
been there.
definitely been
It's
there.
frustrating,
It's
right?
frustrating, right?
But here's
But
the cool
here's the
part.
cool part.
You can
You
train your
can train
brain to
your brain to
automatically
automatically
respond with
respond with
useful
useful
phrases
phrases
like,
like,
that's
that's
interesting,
interesting,
or
or
let me
let
think
me
about
think
it,
about it,
without even
without
thinking
even thinking
twice.
twice.
Exactly.
Exactly.
By
By
memorizing these
memorizing these
default
default
responses,
responses,
your brain
your
gets
brain
used to
gets used
using
to
them,
using them,
and it starts
and
to
it
feel
starts to feel
natural.
natural.
Over
Over
time,
time,
it's
it's
like you're
like you're
building
building
muscle
muscle
memory for your
memory
English
for your
brain.
English brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like when
it's
you're
like when you
driving
are
and you don't
driving
have
and
to
you don't
think
have
about
to think
every
about every
move you
move you
make.
make.
Your
Your
brain
brain
just
just
knows what
knows
to do.
what to do.
Same with
Same with
English.
English.
And the best
And the
part is
best part
that
is that
native
native
speakers
speakers
actually
actually
use these
use these
phrases
phrases
all the
all the
time.
time.
Like,
Like
if
if
someone
someone
says something
says something
surprising, you
surprising,
can just
you can
respond
just
with,
respond with,
"That's
"That's
interesting."
interesting."
Or, if you
Or
don't
if you don't
understand
understand
something,
something,
"What do you
what
mean
do you
by
mean by
that?"
that?
They're simple,
They are
but
simple
super
but super
effective.
effective.
Totally.
Totally.
And once
And
those short
once those short
responses are
responses are
automatic, you can
automatic,
start
you can start
memorizing
memorizing
longer
longer
sentence
sentence
structures.
structures like,
Can you give me a
"Can you
little
give
more
me a little more
information?
information?"
Or I'll
Or,
have to check
"I
my
will have
schedule
to check
first.
my schedule first."
The more you
The more you
practice, the
practice,
quicker your
the quicker
brain
your
will
brain
react.
will react.
And here's a
And
little
here's a
bonus for
little
you
bonus for
guys.
you guys.
We've actually
We've
made
actually
a
made a
free
free
PDF
PDF
with the
with the
top
top
50 default
50 default
responses that
responses
native
and
speakers use
the
every
native speakers
day.
use every
You
day.
can download
You
it
can
from the
download
link
it from the
below
link
and
below
start
and start
practicing these
practicing these
phrases right
phrases right
away.
away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
great
a great
resource
resource
to
to
keep
keep
with you
with you
and
and
practice
practice
anytime.
anytime.
And don't
And don't
forget to
forget to
hit
hit
that
that
subscribe button.
subscribe button.
We've got
We've
more
got more
helpful
helpful
tips
tips
and
and
resources
resources
coming your
coming
way.
your way.
So,
So
start using
start
these
using these
responses in your
responses in
daily
your daily
conversations
conversations
and
and
watch
watch
how
how
much
much
faster
faster
your
your
English
English
thinking
thinking
becomes.
becomes.
Need a high-quality AI voice like this for your content? Don't be stuck without the perfect narration for your video.
Speak in metaphors or
Speaking metaphors
analogies.
or analogies.
All right, let's
All
move
right,
on to
let's
tip
move on
number
to tip
3.
number 3.
Speaking in
Speaking in
metaphors or
metaphor or
analogies.
analogy.
This one is
This
super
one is
fun
super
and
fun
can
and can
really
really
help you
help you
level up
level
your
up your
English.
English.
Oh, this
Oh,
is
this
one
is
of
one
my
of my
favorites.
favorites.
So, when we
When
talk
we
in
talk in
metaphors or
metaphors or
analogies,
analogies,
we're
we are
not
not
just
just
describing
describing
things
things
directly.
directly.
We're using
We are using
comparisons to help
comparison to help
explain
explain
something in a
something in a
more
more
creative,
creative,
interesting
interesting
way.
way.
Exactly.
Exactly.
For
For
example,
example,
instead of just
instead of
saying,
just saying
"It's hot,"
it's hot,
you can
you
say,
can say
"It
it
feels like
feels
I'm in a
like I'm in a
sauna."
sauna.
It paints a
It
much
paints
clearer
a much
picture,
clearer
right?
picture, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
adds
it
so
adds
much more
so much
depth to
more
what you're
depth to what
saying.
you are
It
saying.
makes your
It
message
makes your message
stronger and
stronger
more
and more
engaging.
engaging.
And when you
And
do
when you
this,
do this,
you're
you're
actually training
actually
your
training
brain
your
to
brain
think
to
in
think
bigger
in
ideas,
bigger ideas,
not just
not just
individual
individual
words.
words.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, I get it.
It's like
It's
when you
like when you
say,
say,
"I'm busy."
I'm busy.
Instead of
Instead
just
of just
that,
that,
you could
you could
say,
say,
"I'm
I'm
juggling
juggling
10
10
things at
things at
once."
once.
That not
That
only
not only
tells
tells
someone you're
someone you are
busy,
busy,
but it gives
but it
them a
gives
whole
them a whole
picture of what your
picture
day
of what
feels
your
like.
day feels like.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
that's how
And that's
native
how native
speakers
speakers
think.
think.
They don't
They
just
don't
focus
just
on
focus on
words,
words,
they
they
focus on
focus on
ideas
ideas
and
and
concepts.
concepts.
By
By
practicing
practicing metaphors,
you're
you are
expanding your
expanding your
vocabulary and
vocabulary
your
and your
imagination.
imagination.
And the cool thing
And the cool
is,
thing
it
is, it
makes you
makes you
sound
should
way
sound
more
way more
fluent.
fluent.
If you can
If you
describe
can
things in
describe things
different
in
ways,
different
you'll
ways,
respond
you will
faster
respond
and more
faster and more
naturally the
naturally
next
the
time you
next
talk
time you
about
talk
similar
about similar
topics.
topics.
So here's your
So
challenge
here's
for
your
this tip.
challenge for this
Try
tip. Try
describing
describing
something in your
something in your
day
day
using a
using a
metaphor.
metaphor.
For
For
example,
example,
instead of
instead of
saying I'm
saying I'm
tired,
tired,
you could
you could
say
say
I'm running
I'm
on
running on
empty.
empty.
Get creative with it.
Get creative
Yep.
with it.
And
Yep.
remember,
And remember,
the
the
more
more
you
you
use
use
metaphors, the more
and the more
natural they'll
natural they
become.
will become.
It's a great
It's a
way
great
to
way
add
to
color
add
to your
color to your
English and
English
express
and
yourself
express
more
yourself more
clearly.
clearly.
And don't be afraid
And
to
don't
get
be
a
afraid
little
to get a little
imaginative.
imaginative.
English
English
is
is
full of
full
fun
of fun
expressions,
expressions,
and you can
and you
make
can
it
make it
even
even
more
more
fun
fun
by thinking
thinking
outside the
outside the
box.
box.
Reframe your
Reframe your
emotions
emotions
in
in
English.
English.
Let's jump into our
Let's
next
jump into
tip.
our next tip.
Reframing your
Reframing your
emotions in
emotions in
English.
English.
This one is
This
really
one is really
interesting because
interesting
it
because it
connects your
connects your
feelings
feeling
directly to the
directly to the
language.
language.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Our
Our
emotions
emotions
are
are
closely
closely
linked to
linked
the
to the
way our
way our
brains
brains
work.
work.
By
By
processing those
processing those
emotions in
emotions in
English,
English,
You're
You are
helping your
helping
brain build stronger connections with the language.
language.
So,
So
whenever
whenever
you
you
feel
feel
something,
something,
whether it's
whether it's
happiness,
happiness,
frustration,
frustration,
or even
or even
sadness,
sadness,
describe those
describe those
feelings in
feelings in
English.
English.
For
For
example,
example,
instead of
instead of
just
just
feeling
feeling
frustrated, say,
frustrated,
I'm
say,
frustrated
I'm
because I
frustrated
can't find
because
my
I can't find
keys.
my keys.
And when you
And
do
when you
that,
do that,
you're not
you are
just
not just
practicing
practicing
vocabulary,
vocabulary,
but
but
also
also
training your
training your
brain
brain
to
to
think in
think in
English.
English.
The
The
more
more
you
you
do
do
it,
it,
the
the
more
more
natural it
natural
will
it will
become.
become.
Exactly. It's
It's
like
like
you're
you are
tricking your
tricking your
brain
brain
into
into
switching
switching
to
to
English
English
mode.
mode.
If you
If
want
you
to keep
want to
that
keep
habit
that
going,
habit going,
try
try
writing
writing
or
or
saying
saying
affirmations in
affirmation
English
in English
too.
too.
Something
Something
like,
like,
I can
I can
improve
improve
my
my
English
English
every
every
day,
day.
can really
Can
help
really help
strengthen that connection.
strengthen that
That's
connection.
a great
That's
point.
great point.
Affirmations don't just
Affirmation don't
build your
just build your
confidence.
confidence.
They
They
also
also
train your
train your
brain to
brain
switch into
to switch
English
into English
automatically.
automatically.
It's like
It's like
creating a
creating a
mental
mental
shortcut that
shortcut that
helps you
helps
think
you
in
think in
English
English
faster.
faster.
Yes.
Yeah,
The more you
the
practice
more you
thinking in
practice thinking
English
in
during
English
emotional
during emotional
moments,
moments,
the easier
the
it will
easier
be
it
to
will
think
be
in the
to think in
language
the language
all the
all the
time.
time.
You'll start
You will
feeling
start
like
feeling like
English is your
English is your
default way of
default way of
thinking,
thinking,
not just
not
something
just
you have to
something you have to
force.
force.
And this method
And this
works
method
even for
works
small
even
moments.
for small moments.
Let's say you're
Let's
feeling
say you're
happy
feeling
because
happy
you finished
because
a
you finished a
project.
project.
Instead of
Instead
just
of just
saying,
saying
I'm
I'm
happy,
happy,
you could
you
say,
could say I
I feel
feel
so
so
proud because I
because I
just
just
finished my
finished my
work.
work.
It's a simple
It's a simple
switch, but
switch,
it
but it
helps.
helps.
Absolutely. So
So
next
next
time you're
time you're
feeling
feeling
something
something
strong,
strong,
whether it's
whether it's
joy,
joy,
stress, or
stress, or
frustration,
frustration, try
try to
to
describe it
describe
in
it in
English.
English.
Your
Your
brain will
brain will
thank you
thank
for it
you
in the
for it
long
in the
run.
long run. Long run.
Simulate
Simulate
English-only
English-only
situations.
situations.
And now, let's
And
talk
now
about our
let's talk
final
about our
tip,
final
simulating
tip.
English-only
Simulating English-only
situations.
situations.
This one
This
is
one is
all
all
about putting
about putting
yourself in
yourself in
real-life
real life
scenarios,
scenarios.
but in
But
English,
in
of
English, of
course.
course.
Right.
Right.
It's like
It's like
creating a
creating a
little
little
English
English
world for
word for
yourself.
yourself.
By
By
role-playing
role-playing
different
different
situations,
situations,
you can
you can
practice
practice
reacting
reacting
quickly and
quickly and
naturally in
naturally in
English,
English,
just like you
just
would in
like
your
you do
own
in your own
language.
language.
Yes.
Yes.
For
For
example,
example,
you can
you can
practice
practice
ordering food
ordering
at a
food at a
restaurant,
restaurant,
arguing with a
friend,
or
or
explaining your
explaining
job
your
to
job
someone.
to someone.
These are
These are
everyday
everyday
situations that
situations
we
that
all
we all
experience,
experience,
and
and
practicing them
practicing
in
them in
English
English
makes it
makes it
feel
feel
more
more
natural.
natural.
Oh, I love
Oh, I
that.
love that.
And don't
And
just
don't
stop
just
at
stop at
conversations you
conversation you
expect.
expect.
Try
Try
recording
like
yourself
recording yourself
responding to fake
responding to fake
emergencies
emergencies
like,
like
my
my
phone
phone
isn't
isn't
working,
working,
or
or
I need
I need
directions to
direction
the
to the
airport.
airport.
It's a fun
It's
way
a
to
fun
build
way
your
to build
skills
your
and get
skills and
better
get
at
better
thinking
at
in
thinking
English
in
on the
English
spot.
on the spot.
That's true.
That's
You
true.
can
You can
simulate
simulate
anything you
anything you
want.
want.
If you're
If you are
practicing a
practicing a
situation
situation
and you don't
and
know
you
how to
don't know how
react,
to react,
that's a
that's a
great
great
moment to
moment to
look it
look
up.
it up.
You're
You are
building
building
real-life
real life
skills
skills
that you
that
can
you can
use when the
use when the
situation
situation
happens
happens
for
for
real.
real.
And here's a
And
cool
here's a
hack.
cool hack.
If you ever
If
feel
you ever
stuck
feel
and
stuck
don't know
and
what
don't
to
know what to
simulate,
simulate,
here's something you
here's
can
something
do.
you can do.
When you're
When you
scrolling
are
through
scrolling through
TikTok or
TikTok or
watching short
watching short
videos,
videos,
pause it.
pause it.
Imagine if you
Imagine
were the
if you
one in the
are the one in the
video.
video.
How would you
How would you
react?
react?
What would you
What would
say?
you say?
That's
That's
such a
such a
great
great
idea.
idea.
It's like you're
It's like
practicing
you're
English
practicing
without
English without
even
even
realizing it.
realizing it.
Plus, it
Plus,
helps you
it
stay
helps you stay
focused and
focused
save
and
time
save
on your
time on your
phone.
phone.
And the more
And
you
the more
do
you do
this,
this,
the
the
quicker your
quicker your
brain will
brain
get
will
at responding in
get at
English.
responding in
It's like
English. It's
preparing
like
for real
preparing
life
for real life
situations,
situations,
but without the
but without the
pressure.
pressure.
So, if
So,
you want
if you
to
want to
improve your
improve your
English,
English,
start
start
simulating
simulating
situations
situation
every
every
day.
day.
Your
Your
brain will
brain
get
will get
used to reacting in English,
English,
and you'll feel
and you will
more
feel more
confident in
confident
real
in real
conversations.
conversation.